Alright, this is an exciting one. A video I had planned for quite some time, and I put it off for a variety of reasons, but I woke up and I was like, today is the day I do my Stobe. Now, people that have come to my channel before, you've heard me play Jessica before, but I've heard Stobe play it, and it was a lot on a lot of his videos. Anyway, welcome to the Nashville Masterclass. I am your host, Jamie the Kid May, and today we are going to go over a person that should, I would think, have videos just about him, but there really aren't any. And if this video gets enough views and enough likes, I will do a full-blown documentary. What's the difference? I sit here in the video, have pictures, and we'll talk about Stobe's life. A documentary, I will actually go out to the places he went, ride some trains, talk to as many people as I possibly can that knew Jim, except probably Wingman, and we will go over why in a bit. So there's a lot, to cover. We're going to talk about connections. That's why so many people feel so close to Jim Stobe, even though they haven't met him, is we all have things in common, and I'll go over the reason why I'm doing this, the things we have in common. We'll go over his life, as much of his early life as I could find, and we'll go over his videos, what he did, his career, and unfortunately, we'll go over his death. Now, I have to say, before I even begin, is I have seen some people, when they come across something negative about him, they're, no. Somebody said something about him being an alcoholic, and they're like, well, that's his choice. Whatever that means, right? That really doesn't sum up anything. But if we're going to look at the man, look at his life, look at his videos, his career, we can't hide our heads in the sand, if we come across something we don't like. He was born, I gotta have note, there's a lot here, guys. I could never just keep this in my head. He was born James William Stobie to his dad, Michael Stobie, and his mother, I've seen Mary Stobie Lickman. I think she got remarried because it's Mary McFerrin now, and I don't know why I didn't do this months ago, but a friend requested them on Facebook. So, if this video does good, I can probably do some kind of Kickstarter fund, and because it's going to cost money to go all over the United States and probably commit crimes trying to cover what Jim did. But he was born October 23rd, 1984, 4 years after me, in Colorado, Denver. Died November 8th, 2017. Connection, his life, his career, his idiosyncrasies, his quotes, legacy. Like Jim, we're both trained musicians. He went to school, I think, at Colorado State University, 4-year music degree. I didn't go. I had to learn music theory on my own. When I moved to Nashville, I thought I knew how to play the guitar, and I found out really quickly I knew nothing and had to go study, and I've been doing it for years now. We were both in the military. He was in the Coast Guard. I was in the Army. I joined about 6 months before 9/11, so I wish I had have just gone to the Coast Guard. Been a a better choice. Speaking of the military, I did find out that Jim's grandfather was a POW in World War II at a Japanese POW camp. We both had problems with substance abuse. His was alcohol, mine was opiates. We both have a gigantic lexicon of words, a huge vocabulary, and I think it was ubiquitous across YouTube when people would watch him, and they just astounded at the vocabulary of this guy. We're both disillusioned as artists. I'm going to show two examples. One thing he said at the Daily Dot in 2016, I have tried a lot of ways to get attention as an artist. This seems to be the only one people notice. When I did my interview for the Soft White Underbelly, when you get on social media, there's a lot of outpouring of people really loving it and wanting to know more about me, wanting me to write a book or do a documentary about my life. It also opened up the door to a lot of abuse and criticism. And that happens. Of all the things I am, like I just talked about, all it said on my interview is Jamie, a life on drugs. And that was it. And of all the things I am, a homeless drug addict is the only one people notice. Now, here's another thing that Jim said right here.
By these shows. There's two shows, I'm not going to mention their names, but they're both have Hobo in the name. Somebody the Hobo and this Hobo. And neither of them are even hobos. Basically, both of these are just people who live in their car and drive around. They both started a lot more recently than my channel, and I'm getting smoked by these channels in views, everything, subscribers. One of them's got 30,000 subscribers. When I see something like this, it gives me pause. I admit it's kind of a letdown. Putting in the volume of time and effort into these videos. Disappointing to do that and then see people, basically just doing a vlog and calling themselves Hobo and getting 10 times the subscribers. I think that, content like I'm doing just may not really be in demand anymore. I'm seeing other shows.
And indeed, I see a lot of people on YouTube, TikTok that are not even addicts. They just go in and exploit addicts and call it for awareness, and they're just smoking me. I haven't been on that long. I haven't even made my videos public for a year. But, watching people, or some people that had a couple of years addiction, never went homeless, and they're just putting up inspirational quotes or smoking me. But then again, that's the kind of deal. We're both talking about things that are divisive. A lot of people love Jim, but he had a lot of critics. People saying that he was showing all the tricks, and police were it was going to be a lot harder because now the police knew that so many people were riding the rail. People saying he was doing dangerous. Of course, he even said that himself. It was very dangerous, especially drinking alcohol. Now, in the comments, I would like for anybody to write down what has connected you with Jim Stobe. What did you see in him? What did you see of yourself in him? We'd all like to know, and I love to read that. Now, this is going to be really iffy. The dates of a lot of things are iffy because I'm going by when it was uploaded to YouTube, and that doesn't mean at all that's when it happened. Now, I had pictures of him when he was younger. A lot of pictures I got off Facebook, and I'm not trying to steal people's photos and call them as my own. They're not my own, but to show Jim to do this video, I needed pictures, and there wasn't many places to get them. I don't think I'm going to be making any money off this. I don't have anywhere near enough audience. I went to Colorado State for music, I think, and he started writing the trains during college. In 2007, he made his first full-length movie or documentary, Attack of Stobe, the Hobo. I'm guessing he joined the Coast Guard around 2009 because of all the videos. Usually sign up for 4 years, and it feels like, you know, that's around the time. You know, he did YouTube videos while he was still in the Coast Guard. Like the very first one, you will find Stobe the Hobo Holiday Times. Let's see, it was Seattle to Denver. That was in 2007, December 2011. Sorry, 2011 was the Holiday Times thing. Now, I think he did KDY to Ben while he was still in the Coast Guard. He went to Indonesia, I'm guessing around 2015. That's when it was uploaded. And there's quite a few videos of him going to Indonesia. God, I would have loved to go. I spent a year in Korea, but I was on the DMZ right on 9/11, so that wasn't too fun. His second movie, Canada by Cargo Train. I know in the first movie, Attack of Stobe the Hobo, he tried to get in Canada and somebody narked him out and he got booted off the country, so he vowed to go back. Now, he does all the, there's a third one, Colonel's Freight Crew Rides Again. He met John Wingman, that's what we call him, Wingman. They had both graduated, not the same, but they both graduated college and met in Whitefish, Montana, in a train yard. And I'm guessing they were going to Orange Acres, what they call the Northern Command Post. Orange Acres is a place for transient hobos, you know, anybody that needs a place to go. And that's another place I'll visit if I do a documentary. Now, the thing about Wingman, and I'll see a lot of comments and videos on YouTube and pictures on Facebook asking where he is, and this is where people clash and get kind of nasty. Some people are like, well, he could just say hi. He could just say something nice. He could keep the life and memory of Jim Stobe alive, but he doesn't want to. From what I've seen, he's like, I appreciate it. I sometimes watch videos about Stobe, but he's got a job, and I think he'd lose his license if he started riding the rails. You know, there's one video on Ran Out on a Rail after Jim died, and it's just got him riding. He does the KFC, and he looks really hurt. So even if I do a documentary, I am not going to hound this guy down. If John Wingman, I just call him Wingman because I saw it, I don't even know his last name, it's hard to find. If he wants to stay hidden, he's going to stay hidden. I mean, if he wants to talk to me off camera, that'd be fine, but I'm not going to hunt the guy down. Let's just talk about how Jim was, like his idiosyncratic behavior. I stutter a little. He was very non-conformist, right? Just like me, he did not want a 9-to-5 job. He was not a fan of politics. Now, a lot of people believe he's right-wing or he's left-wing, but he made fun of both. I know somebody that said something about how he wouldn't like libtards because he was in the military. Do you remember where he was talking about Trumpelstiltskin and Mar-a-Lago? It's not the only thing he said about Republicans. He did not like politicians either way, from what I gather. He never favored one over the other, from anything I saw ever. He was getting disillusioned with train hopping. As you can see in later videos, he would tell, this is not glamorous. It's a hard life. I rode hop trains a few times. It was always with my friend Eddie. And Eddie died of alcoholism. His kidneys shut down in Nashville. But, I ride the rails with him. I was not like Stobe or Wing. I'm not really good at it. I'm not a master at it by any stretch of the imagination. But people I think he kept doing it because, like he said, I try to get attention as an artist, but this is the only thing people pay attention to. So I think he kept pushing it for his audience, not so much himself. This is, not related, but kind of like Jerry Garcia playing all those shows because his fans wanted him to, and it eventually killed him. He stressed out, was doing heroin and died of a heart attack. People can say all kinds of things about how he died. There's a lot of misinformation out there. No one really knows. He died, as they say in Hobo parlance, he caught the westbound. November 7th, 2017. There were 2 stories. I heard one where the train caught him off guard and he tried to lay flat in the forefoot, in between, and his pack was too big and the train caught him and dragged him. Another one was the train was coming, so he jumped off and fell on another track and died. We don't know. We don't know if people make these assumptions that alcohol. I mean, it was a pretty good assumption because he drank every day, and this is not judgment against him. How could I judge? But he even, he mix alcohol with these huge steel trains that weigh tons and tons. I guess it'll catch up with you some way or the other. And most of us, I think there's 2 ways that Stobe's channel has got so much bigger than when he was alive, because there was one group of people where they're just morbidly curious. They found out this guy died and they start watching his videos. Or other ones like me, I think most of you, where we just happened to, the algorithm showed us and we got interested and then found out he died. And it brings something out in people that have lived that life. I travel around the United States. I was homeless for 10 years. And, like one time when him and Wee Man split up, he's like, Jim, here's Jim alone, as usual. And God, I got that. I've been alone a lot, to the point where I didn't talk to people for days. So I just started talking out loud as I thought. And now it's bled over to sometimes when I'm thinking, I'll say, or actually talk what I'm saying in my head, and people think I'm schizophrenic. He had a lot of very famous quotes, of course, in the darkest hours of the night, which this video is called. Things like F and BS, the lamest railroad in the country. F and BS. I've got cold beer, which ameliorates the situation. There's that lexicon. Huge vocabulary. I think one time he was in the snow and he said he was ensorcelled. That's not a word many people use. Be careful with alcohol as well. It's fine to get trashed, but don't do it and get on and off a moving train. Right. Sometimes he would just kind of get into a rant. He'd kind of go off the rails. Some people liked it. I liked it. Some people didn't. But the thing is with Jim is he is also a lot of what people wish they were. People who worked a 9 to 5, people that have all these responsibilities. And Jim was just out there being free. But being free comes at a cost. He didn't have much money. He was having to wait around on the trains. He was alone most of the time. He always had to live at somebody else's place, crash with somebody else. And I think, he was trying to build a following where he wouldn't have to do that. He would have money, which is something I'm trying to do. But I take it one day at a time. Jim's parents, I remember his mom saying, at least she was glad now she didn't have to worry about Jim sleeping out in the field or, all sorts of things. He went through the South a lot. He went to Birmingham, my hometown. And what he didn't know is some of the places he went to were dangerous. Some of the places he went are dangerous because people selling drugs and also the police. They are hot. Like when he was in Leeds and that cop came up, those people are all the time trying to bust train hoppers. That's actually the location of the Whistle Stop Cafe in probably Green Tomatoes. So it's famous for Hobos have been coming on and off there for years and years and years. So we see a lot in Jim of what we wanted to be. He tried to dress nice. He always had nice clothes so he could, get out of his train hopping clothes. He wore a lot of stuff that you don't think train hoppers do. The train hoppers of the day, I usually wear this hat because my hair is wet when I come down here, but you got a lot of hipster kids with rings on their face and bandanas around their neck, and they go on the train. You see them doing stuff like surfing on top. I had a friend, Wildcat, who went and did that and got his head cut clean off. People all the time, this is how people die and accidents happen because people think, well, this hasn't happened yet. I've done this 1,000 times. Well, it only takes one mistake. And some of the things he did were dangerous, but it was looking at freedom. It was a way to see the country vicariously through him and Wingman's eyes, and so many different videos, and it makes you thirsty for more. We're always hoping that another video would come back. Apparently, he had much more footage that is they're still looking to release it. If you want a CD of Jim's piano arrangements, you can go on Facebook. His dad, Mike Stobie, sells them $15, and he has his email, and that's how you get them. Wingman just doesn't do it anymore. I'm sure it hurt. At the same time Jim died, Hobo shoestring went missing because I think he fell down and had 2 fingers cut off. I remember Jim saying, I hope he's okay. It was just such an emotional moment. He's worried about Hobo shoestring and he dies, but Hobo's okay. Hobo shoestring's okay. He lived his life the way he wanted. It begat problems, and it begat a lot of adventure. When I was a kid, I set out on adventure, and I certainly found it, and I'm not done. I will never be done. And I'm sure he wasn't either. I think if he didn't die, that he would have still got a big fight. He should. I mean, I like Jim's, I'm not trying to be mean to anybody else, but I like Jim's videos a lot more than anybody else on YouTube. Most of the kids, they don't even say anything. They just show the camera where they're going, and that's boring to me. I don't understand that. No commentary. And I like Jim's commentary. It was very witty. And because of the connections I already talked about, the things that I had in common, it made me feel like I was right there with them. It made me think, here's my friend. And a lot of times I go to sleep watching his movies. I've had to move up to Michigan. I don't know anybody up here. I've been stuck in this house for about a year. I've gone out to LA and stuff, but it's like that's how I hang out with my friends, because they're so far away from me that I go on YouTube and I watch Stobe the Hobo, and it's like hanging out with my friends. And I'm sure that's what it's like for all of you. Or if you haven't watched him yet, go do it. Go get on Stobe's. There's his page, Stobe the Hobo, and there's the Stobe the Hobo archive. I think that they both have videos that the other one doesn't have. Ran Out on a Rail has some, and Orange Acres has some. It is definitely something I've suggested to a lot of people. A lot of my friends have gotten to Stobe the Hobo, and I would love to do a documentary because I think he deserves it. I hope somebody does a documentary about my life one day, but I think the world should know, about Jim. And I think anybody that's watched his videos, I think they think the same thing too. The vast majority of us. Well, anyway, we'll see how this video does. You have anything else, put it in the comments. And if I get enough views, if I get enough likes, I'll start a Kickstarter fund. And I will do a, full-length, hour-and-a-half, 2-hour documentary, doing everywhere and everything, pulling up every stone and examining it. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to say. Stop with he was murdered and how his father has said that the police, this was an accident. And when you start pulling up crap like he was murdered, you're hurting his friends and family. They don't need for you to do this over and over again. It's just ridiculous. So, in the darkest hours of the night, I'm going to finish this up and edit it, and I'm going to put it out, and I'm going to see how it does. I wish all of you guys the best of luck in your endeavors, and drop me a line. Let me know how you're doing. Slaters.